Catch girl talks every day. Follow socials, here's the way.
GURLTAUX, every platform come to play. Catch our vibe, don't delay.
Facebook, YouTube streams, scrolling through your daily memes. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Keeping it real, it's what we do. So tune in now and join our crew. Lights moving through the screen, click subscribe, don't be mean. Upbeat chatter, it's our routine. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. Update stories, laugh and cry. It's Girl Talk, so don't question why. It's the show that you'll adore. Come back daily to get some more. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX is who we are. Come hang with us on your tablet, phone, or screen. Anywhere Girl Talks can be seen. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about. GURLTAUX, log in now, watch our show. Likes and comments, let them flow. Every day we're on our way. Girl Talk Show is here to stay. Girl Talk Show, don't miss out. Join the fun, see what Girl Talks is all about.
Walking down this road tonight, talking about the things we fight. Addiction knocking at my door. E&T wants so much more. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, together we'll move along. Searching for a brighter day, holding tight along the way. Sobriety's a steep climb, D&T winning every time. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Oh yeah, we walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Whoa, yeah. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along. Whoa, yeah. We walk the walk and talk the talk, right here on Girl Talk, on the path where we belong. Standing strong through the storm, D&T bringing all of you along.
Hello. Hey, how is everybody tonight? I am here, uh, and we will have Kimberly here in just a few minutes. She's on her way. She was finishing up a dog, and so she's a little bit behind, but that's okay because she'll be here shortly. I was in the middle of trying to download new overlays because I've been working all day. So, I wonder how everyone else is doing here today. I am doing really good. It has been a very long, busy day today, actually. So, it has taken a lot of work to get stuff done that I have to get done today. And when I'm done with my show, I gotta go back over to my shop and work some more because I am not completely done for the day. So I'm taking a break to come and see you all and visit with you all. I hope everybody had a fabulous day. Oh, if you notice what I put on my and my mouse doesn't want to move anything. It's all just okay, there we go. Let's see if we can make this work properly. Anyway, I put on here if you notice that that Trump can do no right. Now, we talked a little bit about the um, issues that happened the other day and how unhinged the left is, and it just is so bothersome that no matter what he does, I mean, I've said it before, like, he could literally, I think, he could probably cure cancer and it wouldn't matter, uh, what what he did. It would not matter in the least little bit, it would not matter. He could do anything and it wouldn't matter. So, that being said, it's pretty disappointing that the people are coming unglued about the stuff he's doing when he's literally doing everything he's doing to try to save America, and the left is literally losing their minds. They're coming unglued. You've got people like, well, The View, for one, and they will just say all sorts of wild crap that's not true, not factual. Uh, okay. I don't know why it continues streaming. It's okay. So Facebook says it lost the connection. So we're just not going to air on Facebook today. Um, but we'll just do it on the YouTube channel. So, um, yeah, I mean, these people just are so unhinged and so unglued that they don't even know what the hell they are doing. They're so out of touch. They're so out of connection with the human race. I mean, they talk about all of us like we're crazy and we're unhinged and we're the problem, but the reality is, um, these people are the ones that are unhinged. They are out of control. They can't see, as I've said it too many times to say it again, but they can't see the forest through the trees. You know, they absolutely just cannot see the forest through the trees, and it's very sad that that stuff is happening and that they can't seem to get out of their own way. They can't help themselves, you know, and it's sad because they should be able to see what he's doing in a good way. And it's okay to you know, it's okay to say he did something good, and you don't always have to say it's bad, you know, you don't always have to say that he's in the wrong. Sometimes it's okay to just say, "Trump did something good. Great. Wonderful. That's a wonderful thing." But no, the Democrats cannot say anything good. They can't say anything positive about anyone, and it's absolutely cringeworthy that um, they can't say anything positive, they can't do anything good, they can't, and I mean, they can't see when there's anything good. Everything to them is bad. Um, and it's heartbreaking to me, in my opinion, because I like the stuff that I'm seeing happening. I'm, approving of it, but when I say the left is coming unglued, it's also not just the TV personalities or YouTubers or whatever, but there's people that are buying into the rhetoric and the bullshit that is being put out there by the media. And as I discussed with Kimberly yesterday, Joe Rogan said it on his show. When you talk about mainstream media, what you mean by mainstream media is media that the main people, that the majority of people watch. So in reality, mainstream media is now citizen journalists, YouTubers, whoever's watching the most. You know, like, to be honest with you, you got Joe Rogan, you got Megan Kelly, you have Tucker Carlson, you have Dan Bongino, which will be off here shortly, but he'll have a new somebody else is taking over a different show for him. And you have Ben Shapiro, you have Charlie Kirk, you have Candace Owens, you have Amala. Um, I mean, you have David Harris Jr., you have Russell Brand, you have let's see, Officer Tatum. You have all these people that are being watched 1,000 times more than any CNN, MSNBC, or whatever. But the people that are still watching that stuff are buying the rhetoric. They're buying into the bullshit. And I am gonna try to swear a little less. I apologize if it is offensive. I mean, I don't care that much. Like, I'm not a big person on, "Oh my god, you can't, swear." But it's like, I forget that some people actually don't like it. So, I don't mean to be, like, obnoxious. I will not um, do it all the time. I will try my best to watch what I say at least a little bit. Um, but that's because of me. Like, I'm not doing that because I think you guys all might be offended. I'm doing that because, like, I don't want to cuss as much as I do when I watch my shows back and I'm like, man, she throws the F bomb an awful lot. I want my mom to be able to watch it, and she would probably be like, "Really? How many times do you have to say the F word?" Hey, Kimberly is here. Kimberly, hi. How are you?
Tired today.
Oh, me too. I have been working my butt off. I have to go back to the shop when we're done with our show. I have more work to get done. I have a thing tomorrow, so I have to be ready for it. And
Oh,
so yeah, I have a few more pieces I got to finish making today because I have to be on the road to Coleman by 6 a.m., 6:15 in
what's
the
happening
morning.
in Coleman?
It's a conference, a women's conference. I have a vendor booth there.
Oh.
So I was asked by one of my friends, like, kind of, sort of last minute, not totally last minute, but kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
So I don't have a ton of stuff I'm taking, but I have enough to hopefully make it worth my while being there. Um,
Wow.
tumblers, and it's at a church. It's
Okay.
like a women's church conference group. So I made some new tumblers and mouse pads and some other things, and
Wow.
yeah, so I've been working all for the last couple weeks trying to get it all done, all the designs made,
Mhm.
and then printing, trying to print some yesterday, which I did, and then getting the rest printed and pressed today because I got to put them all in the heat presses and stuff like that. So I got most of it done, the majority of it done. I do have 2 tumblers that I have to put in the oven and bake off because I put them upside down. So there's that. I don't know. I might just keep one just for prosperity. Like, sometimes I do feel like my world is upside down. But anyway, so I put the
That's
camera on
funny.
you when you came in, and then I never changed it back to myself. So how are you doing today besides the fact that you're tired
Oh, I'm doing great.
or that
I'm
you
just
had a long day? Yeah, you literally sent a message that you were just a dog was just being picked up right before you got here
Mhm.
or left to come here.
Yeah, it
So
was a big day today. So it
how
was
many dogs did you do
well,
today?
7. That's a lot for me.
7 dogs. Oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 basset hounds,
Can I bow
3
down right now? Cause like I'm happy if I got through my poodle and my cocker spaniel in one day. I'm like, oh my god.
Well, and one of them was
7? Did you misspell 3?
That's my normal day is 3 or 4 maybe. But today was 7. 2 basset hounds that each weigh like 90 pounds.
Oh, so they're tiny.
I did have a Yorkie, so that was like oh, thank God. And then 2 Shih Tzus, one of which is a special dog. He's old and he will take your fingers off if you piss him off and like with no warning. So he's a special case.
Now, when you
And
have dogs like that, do you put muzzles on them or anything at all? Or do you just do gentle care?
usually I use no restraints on dogs.
Because I mean, I've
'Cause
watched
no
how you
restraints
handled
is the
our
best.
dogs and
Sometimes you need
beautifully.
restraints because if it's a big, hefty, big-bodied, strong dog, it's not just gonna sit there with some coaxing. Like, they really do wanna bail off the table. So I'll put a loop. But 9 times out of 10, a small dog that I can control with my hands, and they don't even get a loop on. Dogs that bite, I just hope that my reflexes are still as sharp as they were when 25, 30, 35, 40 years ago.
I got news for
He
you.
got he got me. He got me today.
Oh, he did.
He got me a little bit.
At
But
least
I
it's
mean,
little.
yeah, like it's fine. I was like, okay,
You and I've been
Julio.
bit so many times that I'm like, is
I-
that really a bite?
Well, I mean, you see, there's a mark there, but this is where that Malinois tore me open too. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like already,
Like
it's
I don't
very
feel it there
sensitive.
anyway.
Yeah, I knew he snapped at me, and then when I put
I'm
him
like,
away,
oh,
I was
wait.
like, oh, he got me.
Yeah.
But and then I had a German Shepherd who works at the airport as a bomb sniffing
dog?
dog. And then a 120-pound Australian Shepherd.
Oh, that one might have been fun.
Oh, he's so big. He's really awesome. I've been doing him for years, but unfortunately, the last time I saw him, between then and today, he's put on about 20 pounds. And so he's a challenge because he's good, but he's huge and hairy. And that was the one that just got picked up. So
Those dogs are kind of hairy and they shed a lot. And,
Mhm.
people look at different breeds of dogs, like for their cuteness level or for their prettiness level. Like, I want a Malamute because they're beautiful. They really are beautiful. Also, know you are going to be living in dog hair.
And not only that, Malamutes don't have the best temperaments.
Yeah, they're kind of rough
They're
dogs.
aggressive.
Well, they need to work.
Yeah,
You
they're
know,
a
like any
definite
type of
working
dog that you get that's I say this all the time to people, don't you got to look into your breed a little bit, if they have
Mhm.
anxiety or if they like if you get a dog that is high strung and has social anxiety disorder, which
Mhm.
a lot of dogs just it's their breed.
Mhm.
They just naturally are that way. They need to be working with people.
Yes.
And if you leave them at home alone, they will just destroy your house.
Yes.
My brother had a Australian Shepherd that literally tore his stairs apart
Oh my
and
gosh.
couch and all sorts of other stuff. And they put a camera up to see what he was doing. And people told him to put all sorts of treats and toys inside of a 2-liter bottle
Mhm.
to keep him entertained, and it would keep him from eating all the other stuff. He had everything out of
Yeah.
that thing in like
5
30
minutes
seconds.
or less. Yeah, like, that's not a
And then he's like,
challenge.
now the couch. So, I look like
Oh,
I'm
that's
slouching
funny.
so bad because my back is
Oh, I
killing
know.
me.
I'm just like, it's rough.
I've been over the top of my desk like this for hours, just taping up all the things, and then I get up to walk to go over to the heat press, and I'm like,
with sound effects.
yeah, sound effect. Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
Okay, I'm upright.
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, hold balance for a second. Yeah. Getting old sucks. My dad
really does.
said, you know why they call it the golden years? Because you're so old and you piss on yourself.
He wasn't lying. Especially if
He's
you've
like,
had multiple children.
he's all, it has nothing to do with gold. It
No.
has nothing to do with finances, gold bars. Golden is because you pee on yourself all the time. So you just deal with it.
So is that what you bring for a gift for a golden anniversary party? Some Depends and some bed liners.
Yeah. I think that would be a hoot, actually. I think that'd be pretty funny. Oh my God. So
So we're not saying bad words anymore. I caught the end of that.
I'm gonna try.
Where did that begin?
All it began was with me saying, I'm gonna try to watch my F-bombs. And it came to my mind because I was watching Officer Tatum last night, and he doesn't swear.
Mm-mm.
And like he will say, see you next Tuesday. He will say, he spells out the word in words.
Mm-hmm.
And I like it. I like that he's not just throwing them out there. You
Mhm.
are airing to the public. And not everybody is as free and okay with the F word as I am. Like, I don't care. You're not a Christian because you use the F word.
Right.
You're not going to HELL if you use a bad word. But I did notice, because I watched, one of our episodes, and I was like, wow, we both like let the F-bomb fly a bit.
Oh, I know, I do.
Now, I'm fine with it because it is who I am, and like I do, and I don't mean to sound crass, but I mean, like, I watched Megyn Kelly, and sometimes she gets down with that F word too. So I'm like, all right, at least I'm not that I'm not horrible, So in fact, I wanted to bring up a Megyn Kelly episode that talking about the unhingedness of people. So I'm gonna look for it, and we'll talk while I'm looking for it. But
well, I know I say it a lot, but I usually only like I run a business, and so when I speak to people every day, I'm not like F this and
yeah, here's your fucking dog.
and yeah. Why don't you brush this fucker? Like I'm not. It's not anything like no. I would never.
It's more when I'm passionate about something, or I get heated over some of the things that we're talking about. I get a little bit heated, and so it ends up getting a little out of control, not intended to.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, I don't intend to come out with it right out the gate or anything, but it does happen. And Usually it's because of something that I'm like, "Oh my god, look at all this crap," I just
Mhm.
want to share, something. So,
Yeah, and same with me too. It's more something I feel intensely about or something that's really got me just so twisted up, and that's really the only way that feel I can express or it's just one of them colorful words that I throw out there but it's not like in a normal conversation.
right,
I
yeah.
don't normally swear. I really don't. Like it's really situational.
Yeah, mine is really situational too. But I was thinking about it and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try for myself." Like, I don't care and I'm not offended by it and I'm not offended by anyone, nor have I been told by anyone like, "Hey, I watched your show, don't do that." Um,
You said the F word
yeah,
this many times.
I wanna police myself on it because I would like to maybe that not sound like I just have a potty mouth. Um 'Cause that's not the intention, this is not the F show. And there have been a few days where I was like, "Okay, this has kinda turned into the F show." And I'm like, "Okay, maybe I should, actually watch what I'm saying." But anyway,
Gotcha.
I'm just talking about, n not w we're gonna work I'm gonna work on something that we're gonna do next week that we've talked about, but today I just wanna really just talk about the unhinged aspect of the left and not just mainstream media, and again, Joe Rogan, discussed it and, uh, Tucker Carlson, you know, really, the citizen journalists are the mainstream media now because 'cause they're getting the majority of watchers.
Mhm.
So, corporate media would be like CNN, MSNBC,
Mhm.
Fox, those are corporate media, and they were talking about that because we really are the mainstream now, and I mean, we don't have enough followers yet, but other people are, that we both watch.
Mhm.
In The View still gets viewers, and I don't know how many of those viewers are people that are wanting to see what cringy shit they said today, or if they're really watching it legitimately and believe and buy into the crap they're
Mhm.
saying. And then, but really it's about watching people's social medias and what people are putting on there. I'm just done with this and F you and putting stuff out there that is so not factual. And they're coming unglued about how much their hate is showing. And it's because of the information they're receiving. And it makes me concerned about, and some of these people are my friends. Some of these people are people that I love dearly, and they're so misguided, and I don't mean like they need to like Trump. I don't mean like they need to love Trump. They don't need to love him, they don't need to like him, they don't even need to, agree with anything he's doing. But don't become so um sheep like that you're just following just for pure hatred because you're missing the boat, you're missing the point. I mean, I think I put our title today that the Democrat, what, WTF, the Democrats ship is sinking and they are sitting there not even bailing water out, they're putting
Mhm.
water in the boat instead of bailing the water out. Like, it coulda done them a little bit of good to just clap for the kid. Stand up, clap for the kid, clap for the one going into West Point. I mean, you could show even a modicum of, um, empathy for someone, a modicum of celebration for anything. And I mean, it it literally doesn't matter, and it was pretty funny that Trump said, "It won't matter what I do, you're not gonna,"
You're right,
I mean,
right.
he already knows.
He called it, and then because he
And
already
and they
knows,
followed right through with
yeah,
it.
they
So,
sure did.
what is your feelings on how all of this is playing out as we're watching it happen?
Well, I did I it's so hard because I really feel like, and like I've said before, I try to stay somewhat balanced in my intake of information because I personally do not want to be on one side or another, and I've always felt that way. I've always been kind of a middle person, because there are some, or were, see, because I don't even know now, like, what do Democrats really stand for? Because there were some things that on the Democratic side that I was okay with, and
Right.
you know what I mean? But it's not the same anymore. Like, my mom was so, like, I've been going through some of her old stuff lately, and I found pictures of her and, um, Bobby Senior, like,
Oh, wow.
together with his arm around her, and, like,
Oh, wow.
my mom drove in his motorcade
Oh,
when
wow.
he came to Los Angeles, because back in the day, citizens would be asked by the Secret Service to, um, to transport Secret Service people, like vehicles and all this. It was actual citizens that, so my mom had this station wagon, and I was young, so I remember it, but I wasn't, like, too aware of what was going on, but, um, and she had to go through all kinds of background checks and had to get
Right,
some
right.
sort of clearance and all that, and but, like, my mom was such a patriot,
Yeah,
such a patriot,
my family too, yeah.
and she was all about the United
I mean,
States of
I've got a picture of my
America.
mom right back here on Air Force One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and they were patriotic, like, and they may, like, have felt more pulled to one side than the other, but there was never, and I don't remember there ever being such a hateful divide,
Yeah, the
and
unhinged part of it is what has me so concerned
well,
because people are just so unhinged that they can't yeah, well, I've said it before and it's kinda I don't wanna be repetitive, but, like, they cannot see the forest through the trees. They cannot see anything good, anything positive. There is no way that they can acknowledge anything positive, anything
no, they
good, like,
can't.
they can't even see it that there's a possibility that something good could come from it, like, I know that I heard somebody the other day say, "Well, you better return to sender if they send any checks back from Doge based on all the findings that they're getting. Like, don't take the
Mhm,
check if you're gonna be
mhm.
so hateful against him."
Right, right,
But that won't happen. We know that.
right.
But it's like they cannot even understand something good. And, I can understand if there's something negative that I
Mhm,
don't like that Trump does or says. I've acknowledged it. I mean, right now, I don't see any of the policy issues or any of that stuff that I'm disliking, but there have been things he said or there have been things he's done that I'm like, "Dude, like, you could have been better."
mhm,
I mean, I do like that he's more real and he does treat people and things like a real person does, like I probably would. So, I do like that part of it, but at the same time, like, I would say, check yourself a little bit, and I have no problem saying when there's something negative. Same thing with if I watch any of our Congress that are all supposedly on our side that are MAGA types, if they do something that I don't agree with, like, for instance, Dan Crenshaw, I am disgusted by him. I think he's disgusting. I think, and I liked him at the very beginning when he first ran for office. I mean, he was a Navy SEAL. He lost his eye in combat, and apparently he just wants to send everyone else back to combat because he's pissed off that he lost his eye. So I guess he wants everyone else to lose their eye
Lose
too.
something, yeah,
Because
yeah.
he seems like a very hateful person and a hate monger. I mean, his off the off the accident of the hot mic when he said, he asked him, "Hey, what do you think about Tucker Carlson?" He's like, "If I ever see him, I'll kill him."
Mhm,
And then he's like, "I'm not kidding."
mhm.
Um, you know, so
He's the worst. What do you say? He's the worst person ever, or the worst human ever, or
mhm.
something
But
like
that's
that. And I
because
was
Tucker
like,
Carlson has been calling him out for his rhino behavior. He's
mhm,
a warmonger. He
mhm,
wants us to go to war. He wants
mhm,
us to fight. He is a Navy SEAL that got hurt in combat and he never left combat.
mhm,
So he just wants to go back. Like that's where I see him. And I could be wrong, but he's a Republican
mhm,
and I can't stand him,
mhm,
and anyone that says things, even when Marjorie Taylor Greene yelled out Lincoln Riley's name during Biden's address,
mhm,
I thought it was inappropriate.
mhm.
Like, there's rules for that house for a reason, and
Exactly.
you're not supposed to disturb, and you're not supposed it's not a place for protesting. And it's not you shouldn't have been she shouldn't have yelled that out any more than Al Green waving his cane. Now the difference is he was actually waving his cane, which can be considered a weapon.
Mhm,
So so I do call both sides out. Like if I see something, I'm gonna say what I think about it. I'm not, "Oh, well, she's on our side, so it's okay."
mhm,
Now the difference is she did yell it out, like, once and then shut up. Like,
mhm.
she didn't
Right,
continue to do it,
right.
and they're just claiming, "Oh, well, they didn't do anything to her. They just let her stay." Yeah, because she said it and then she shut up.
Mhm.
They didn't even have to ask her to shut up. Al Green wouldn't stop, and neither were the rest of them. So
Well, and also
somebody
the
had to go.
difference too, Al Green was not I heard somebody say not a blue face guy wearing a buffalo hat with
Yeah,
horns,
yeah,
like he was an actual elected official that is supposed to be representative of the United States government rules and regulations and decorum of the house and like it was so but you got to remember because I was thinking about it earlier today, like when it all began. Like, when did all of this really brutal display? And I think I touched on it the other day a little bit of, um, it's like follow the leader, right? So if the leader does it, then you're going to think it's okay to do it too, and then you're going to act in accordance because your leader did it. So, with that being said, what did Nancy Pelosi do right there behind Trump with that speech?
yeah,
And I think that that's where, like, the green light happened.
yeah,
It
yeah. I think
opened the
she
door for the leadership to be able to act out in that manner in front of the nation, in front of television, in front of the world, in front of so now we have them showing up in groups of pink and showing up screaming and hollering and with their little signs and I mean it's also it's it's a circus in a way, but I really think that because the liberal leadership side has shown has crossed boundaries, and what that tells people is it's okay to cross those boundaries. I mean,
right.
all we heard for years was the whole 4 years Trump was in office the first time, all we heard the entire time was impeach, impeach, impeach. We're impeaching him. We're impeaching him. This is an impeachment presidency, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, the minute he stepped through the door, it was they began impeachment processes, and then so that was really exhaustive. And that also solidified for liberals or the Democratic side, whether or not I feel like liberals are really extremists. And so, but just the Democratic side as a whole, it just kind of solidified for them that, yeah, this guy's crazy. Anybody that follows him is crazy. But I mean, that's not the case. Like, just because and it's not the case on the other, just because you think Trump is crazy doesn't mean that the people who voted for him are him. Like, we're not him. We are us. And just the same as you voted for Biden, you're not Biden. Like, I mean, if you want to be, I guess, but that's not much to aspire to at this point.
Right.
But you're not Biden. And I'm not going to treat you like how I think about Biden, which I at this point, I just feel bad for the old man, and he needs to just live out his days on a beach in Virginia. But it just
Well, yeah, because
so
the reality is he is and was so not with it and so incoherent, and I don't like the man. I didn't like
well,
any of his
he's
policies. I
no,
didn't
never.
like any of his stuff that he did his entire time.
No.
However, I have a modicum of empathy.
Right.
I have a modicum of sympathy.
Yes.
I have a modicum of understanding when somebody is no longer, he doesn't even know or remember the shit he did.
Mhm.
He doesn't remember
That's
any of it. He
exactly
doesn't
right.
know any of it. And yes, I am not a neuro doctor. I have not diagnosed him, but I watched my dad go through that.
Well, when you see people tripping, doing normal things like walking and stumbling and being confused about which direction to go along a path from a helicopter to the White House door that they've walked a bazillion times, and then they're confused because they don't know which direction to go, or like, we were able to see the decline ourselves, and everybody was saying, "What you're seeing is not real. You're all just imagining this." And that's really what. Now, see, the extremists on the conservative side, all they did was laugh, call him names, and I'm like, I always looked deeper than that. I'm like, if you're going to be mad at anybody, be mad at his wife for allowing him to be put on display like this, and be mad at the Democratic Party for offering this up as their best choice when, like,
right.
he was their tribute, I guess. But it was sad to me, and those people don't understand that what they were doing wasn't okay.
It's cruel. It was cruel what they were doing to him because he was not in his right mind. And I watched my dad go through that. I watched my dad go through dementia, and it broke my heart. We went to California. We went to Southern California from Northern California for my niece's high school graduation. And on our route there, I drove because my dad and stepmom were not going to come. So I said, I'll drive and I'll take you guys. So I drove and I took them. And, on that route going through there, through Bodie, do you remember Bodie, Ghost Town? So as we were going through there, my dad's like, "Oh, have you ever been to Bodie?" And I said, "Oh yeah, God, it's been years. It's been a long time ago. You took me there when I was a kid." And he's like, "Oh, we should go sometime." So I said, "Well, hey, there's no better time than the present. Let's just do it." And so we went to Bodie and we walked around the ghost town. And it was pretty cool. I've forgotten all about it. And we had a really good time and stuff. And then we stopped at a McDonald's because my dad was hungry, and, so we stopped there, go to the bathroom, go grab some McDonald's or whatever, and I had gone back out to the car, and I saw my dad inside McDonald's, and I hadn't gone back to the car to, like, wait. I ran back to the car to get something, and I came back in, and as I was getting ready to come back in, I see my dad inside the McDonald's, and he was wandering around in the McDonald's, and he was looking kinda scared or whatever, and I went in, and I ran in, and I found him, and he was literally shaking, he was nearly in tears, and he was like,
Oh.
I didn't know where I was, and, I didn't know where you went, I thought I was all alone, I didn't remember how I got here, and,
Wow.
it broke my heart, like, it was so hard to watch this man right? Which one is my dad? He's the middle one. My dad right there, the middle one, that was his race car. But watch this man who was my hero, larger than life, literally going down, that was at Bonneville, going down racetracks, NHRA, whatever, with his hair on fire, doing 300 miles an hour. He broke 7 world records in his racing career. And watching him wandering around McDonald's, scared, not knowing how he got there and not knowing where he was or if he was alone, and I saw the terror in his face. And I've seen it watching Biden. I've seen him where I can see his facial expression is scared, like he doesn't remember where he is, he doesn't remember what he's doing,
Yeah,
and to me, allowing that stuff to happen is cruel.
it is cruel.
It is not funny. I mean,
Absolutely.
I laughed at some of the stuff because him falling up the stairs and, "Hey, Biden's in the best health he's ever been. Watch him ride this bicycle," and then he falls
Right,
over.
right.
All that's funny in the comedy sense of it, but in the seriousness of it, they're abusing an old man who has dementia or possibly Alzheimer's. And my dad was probably on the verge of having Alzheimer's, and to finish off that trip, we went to Southern California. We went to my niece's high school graduation. And then on our way back, we had to we did the same route home. And when we got to I can't remember where it was, but we stayed the night at a hotel. And when we continued on our route and we're getting ready to go back through Bodie, my dad asked me, "Have you ever been to Bodie?" And I mean, this was just a matter of like 2 days. And I said, "Yeah, Dad, we were just there the other day." "We did? We stopped? We went there?" And he didn't remember even doing that 2 days prior. So I can't imagine what
Wow.
does Biden wake up and even remember that he was the president? I mean, people would joke and make cracks at him all the time about how he referred to Kamala as president, or he even referred to Trump one time as president. He also referred to Obama as president while he was president. He called himself vice president. All those things are because he couldn't remember
The present.
the present.
Yeah.
And you guys all think it's one, it is funny in the political side of it. It's funny. On the
Right.
humanitarian side of it, it's not funny. It's
Not at
cruel.
all.
It's
Yes.
cruel because
Yes.
they were misusing a person. And now if they're going to try to tout him out to do speeches or whatever, because I heard that was something they're trying to do now, is get Biden on a speech tour to make some money or whatever. What speech? Like, he can't read. He can't remember a speech. He can't follow a teleprompter. Next page. Like, he doesn't know what's happening. And you want to tout him around for speaking engagements for speaking what, so he can stand up there and say, you know, man, come on, man.
Corn pops. Or yeah.
I mean, are you
Rub my leg.
never mind. You know, like, what are you gonna have him, you know, and we're laughing about it because that part of it makes it comical. But
yeah,
the
but I'm
reality
also like,
is,
we're also referring to things like from way back when he was cognitive. But
yeah,
you know, like, but you're right. Like they're gonna parade him around like a freak show or wow, that's really sick. And raise money for who?
yeah, I have no idea.
Like lawyers or what?
I guess
I don't know, because on that part,
I think it's
money.
disgusting and it's sad, and we should not be doing that kind of stuff, and it makes me cringe at the fact that we think it's acceptable or okay to do any of the things that they're talking about doing, or um or responding to in the way, just to find humor in it. Like, I see that's part of it. Like, people or are they doing it because it's funny? Are they doing it because they will sell tickets because people want to come and watch him like fall on his face? Like, is that how they're going to sell the tickets, or is that how the speeches are meant to be, is so that people will pay money or put money out to watch him fall on his face? Is that the intent? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, is that the intent? I mean, I love what Trump's doing. I think he's doing a great job. I think he is all with it. I don't see any of the cognitive issues, but I think there should be a cutoff for president. I don't
I
think
do
that we
too.
should have 70-year-old people running our country.
No.
Like, you know, the average age of retirement is 65.
Right. Right.
Like, why do we have 80-year-olds fucking running the show?
I know.
There's the F word.
well, so true.
We're gonna ring the bell every time
Well, I
say
was
it.
thinking of like Nerf guns. That'd be cool.
Oh yeah, shoot each other.
Yeah,
That-
like every time so one of us says that, we're wrong.
it'd be a lot better than hitting each other with something hard. Bam! Each of us.
But I didn't even notice.
We
so
get a,
like,
we get a pool noodle and whack each other. Yeah. See, the problem is everybody will be like, "You've missed it 5 times." But I mean,
like, yeah.
exactly.
Because I get it. But anyway, so yeah, what? It's all stuck on the. Did we really say it 5 times? Like,
no, I don't know. I only recall the one time, but I mean the whole point is I don't know.
I mean either. That's why I'm like, do we really say it 5 times? Because that's where my brain stopped. That's where my train derailed right there.
Mine did kind of right there too. But the reality is, he is not. Wasn't
80-year-olds. 80-year-olds running
there
the
we
show.
go.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want anyone in that age group, and it's not about some are cognitive, some are not. It's about what is the average. If you went to a senior home, are there 85-year-olds or 80-year-olds or 75-year-olds running the place, or are they living in it?
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know, like-
Exactly.
And
And this is an important job.
right, this is a
So,
little bit
like,
more important
Than
than
running a
any
nursing
other
home.
job.
Yeah. So I totally agree. And you know, and it's really nice to see a lot of the people that he's chosen
Are young.
are young. So I feel like because they
Yeah,
have grown
like
up.
JD will only be 44 when he runs for president.
Yeah, like wow.
And we
that's
already know that's
super.
going to happen.
Oh, of course.
Like, we know.
Like,
I hope he runs with Tulsi Gabbard. I'm not going to lie. I hope Tulsi Gabbard will be, and I know that wasn't the F word, but she's the F bomb.
Yeah, dude. That would be a great combo.
I think that would be a great combo.
Yes.
And you know, so we've got a lot of younger people. I
Mhm.
mean, RFK Jr., Bobby Jr.
Mhm.
is not in his 40s.
No.
He's in his 60s. Or is he in 70s? I don't remember how old he is. Anybody watching knows how old Bobby Kennedy is. Let me know.
Maybe late 60s.
I think he's late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's in great health.
Yes.
You know, and I
Yes.
get what people are saying when it's like, well, everybody doesn't decline at the same rate.
Mhm.
However, everyone does decline.
Mhm.
Period.
Mhm.
It does not matter. You do not get to not get on that boat.
Mhm.
Everyone will decline.
Yep.
And as the Democrats showed us this last 4 years, if you're the presidential side that's in the White House and you have the majority of everything, you are also the side that will lie about cognitiveness.
Mm.
I don't care which side you're on.
Sure.
I think if you're Republican and Trump
Sure.
started losing it, they'd probably lie about his losing it.
Probably.
You know, because they wouldn't. Well, I don't know. I don't know whether they would or wouldn't, because they would be very proud of having JD take over.
That's true.
But because Trump's not going to just step down.
Yeah.
You know, but I think he also has enough sense, though. I don't know.
I know. See, I feel like,
I mean, it was hard to take my dad's driver's license away from him. You know, when it got to a point where you're like, you can't drive anymore, you know, it was.
But Trump knows when to fold, though, I
Mhm.
think. Because he's been in some heavy, hardcore, high finance business for many decades. And that takes a strong brain. So
It really does. It really
you know,
does.
so I feel like he would not be in denial. And the thing too is with Trump, like, he's got so much money, like, and he's not doing this for one penny.
Right.
So, and I think that he feels confident in JD also.
Well, and I think honestly, his family would never tote him around the
I
way
don't
that
think
the
so.
Bidens did.
No, I don't think so.
I mean,
either. They have way
they
more
had nothing else
respect.
to live on.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah,
needed him to
exactly.
be showcased still.
Yes.
I mean, they've got money. They've got a lot of money. They've made a lot of money. Unsure how, but they've made a lot of money. But I don't think that I don't think Melania would allow that. I don't think his sons would allow that. I don't think his daughters would allow that. And certainly Barron wouldn't allow it.
No.
They would all step in as a family together and say, you know, we have asked them to invoke the 25th, and JD Vance will be taking over and Dad will be stepping down because he had a stroke or whatever the situation is. Because whether we like it or not, he's tough, he's strong, he's got it, and he is with it. But he's also at the age that at any moment he could have a stroke.
That's true.
He could have a heart
That's
attack.
True.
I mean, he is fairly fit because he golfs a lot and stuff like that. But he's not imperviable to something happening.
Exactly.
He's not immune from aging. And nobody is. I mean, they talk about, you know, the fountain of youth. Of course, one of the conspiracies out there I hate the most, and I try to debunk it the most, is the blood adrenochrome. I have such a difficult time with that one, because I'm like, okay, if there was a fountain of youth in the bottle of a baby's blood, we would have no children because it would get out that that's the way to youth. It would get out, like enough people would know about it that the only place you could raise
enough people would support it.
Oh yeah. The
No
amount.
way,
Oh yeah.
dude.
100%. 100%.
No way.
100%.
You
I do. If it was a real thing, I think too many people. There's too many
that
fucking
like
vain
killing
people.
babies
Oh
for
yeah.
staying young? You
Oh yeah.
think a lot of people
Oh yeah.
would?
I think there would be a bunch of homeless. I think there would be a bunch of um baby mama that don't give a shit about their kids, crackheads, all these other people that would go out and they would get knocked up just to sell them for that purpose. And there would be enough bad people out there that if it was a real thing, they would be kidnapping kids beyond what we see, beyond what we hear. You wouldn't see children at a park.
But I mean, do you think that that there would be a demand that big?
Yeah. 100%.
Like just in the general public?
Just on TikTok alone. Look at all the vanity. I mean, we talked about vanity the other day. If there was a way, and I mean, yes, it
I
is.
get it,
Yes,
but
it is.
damn,
It is.
woman, like
it is
that's
it is a moral thing.
That's a big moral thing.
But there are questions out there that people have done in psychology that if you had to save your life and all you had, there's a psychological kind of test that you do when it comes to that, and it's just a question. If you had to shoot and there's a movie on it too, if you had to shoot somebody or kill someone to save your life or if you didn't kill that person, you'll die or someone in your family will die, would you do it? And the other one is, you don't know the person. If you kill this person, you'll get $1 million. And you don't know them. You have nothing. And the moral side of it is there's an awful lot of people that say initially they say no, but you put in enough factors and they will say yes. And you think about it, how many people are hurting.
But that's not the same kind of situation though, because
But
those
yeah,
are
it
like
is. It's
threatening.
still-
No,
it's-
those are threatening situations. We're talking about somebody going on and
But you're-
spending $39.99 for a bottle of baby. What is it? Not. It's the adrenaline. So infant, you like for real.
I really think people would do it. If it was
With
a real
no,
thing.
I mean, there's no threat there. Like you, like
Yep, I think
that's
they
what I'm
would.
saying. Like it's not like what you said isn't really comparable because
Well,
you're putting somebody in like a position to make a decision in a
Correct.
threatening.
But
like
it's still a moral question, and the moral question is still a moral question. You're killing something for your benefit, period. So there are enough people with suffering ailments, pain, that if they could get a fountain of youth that way, they would do it. And the vanity
wow,
in this
that's
on
shitty.
this planet is so bad. I mean, how many people do a TikTok or if they record previously on stuff that actually don't use filters, that aren't using a filter
that's
to
true.
hide their
No,
faces
that's
because
true.
they've got all these blemishes
true.
or they're aging or they're
Mhm.
old or they want to look better. The number of people that I see that have vanity to that degree, yeah, I think if it was a real thing, there would be enough people that would take it and they would do it, because I think there are enough people. Look at all the grifters on YouTube
True.
and on TikTok and selling shit that ain't real, and I got my Christmas haul and it's all fake crap because they want people to follow them, and companies that are sending them stuff so they do crazy stuff. I mean, we were talking about doing something minor on a show. This was a conversation with some other people, some investors and stuff, and doing something on a small scale of a show where we just acknowledged good people that were doing good deeds and good things, and honoring them by giving them a couple $100 and maybe a little award or a trinket or something. And I had to sit and like chew on it for a week or two, and I said, you know what, that would be one way to make a show go viral very quickly, because within about 2 weeks word would get out that this show is giving out money, and then you would have people, look at me doing this great
Yeah.
deed. I helped this old lady
Yeah.
across the street. Never mind the video before that where she's like, stop touching me. I don't want you to touch me. Why are you touching? I'm helping you across the street, lady. You know, just smile for the camera. You know, give me a hug when we're done. You know,
I'm about to make me 350. Now shut up.
yeah, exactly. So the number of grifters that do shit to
true.
get things,
That's true.
would they not? I think there would be way too many people that would succumb to it.
Kill a baby to stay young.
Well, and
God,
see,
I would sure
and that's where those
freaking
people
hope not.
and that's where those people, I hope not too, but I
mean,
think
that's
I'm right in
wow.
this, that there's too many people that would be like, well, I don't know the baby. Like, I don't know the mama. I don't know the baby. You know, and there would be these disgusting women out there who would do it to make money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
that I could see.
Unfortunately, all those things are true at the same time. Like, there's an awful lot of people that wouldn't, and there's an awful lot of people that, and you even have to look at yourself morally. Like, if you had if you didn't even know what was in it, but you found out from someone else that there was this liquid you could take and it would take all your pain away. It would take, you would be younger, you would feel younger, you would be able to do stuff. If you got it and you took it and it worked, would you ask what was in it? Probably not.
No, I would ask what was in it first, but
Right.
that's just me personally.
Right. But
I'm that way.
But the majority of people are not.
You're right.
Yeah, the majority of
You're
people
right.
are like, just don't tell me what's in it and I'll just take it. Like, if it works, I'll take it. If it works, I'll buy it. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
so many people out there are selling different products and saying this works and this works. Well, you trust them because they're somebody you watch on a regular basis. So he says it's good, so I'm going to take it. You know.
Well, and there's also too, like, and this is true. Like, and I'm just going to use like a regular everyday food item as an example, you know, and it says no artificial stuff or no additives or no this or that, but, or it'll say made with real juice.
Yeah.
But there's like 0.03% of like a squeezed grape in there, you know.
You only have to have
a certain
amount of real
to be able to
call it real. And
but it's just,
and I know the difference
deceptive.
between a orange juice when I squeezed it and orange juice in a container that says real orange juice. I'm like, that ain't squeezed orange juice. That ain't real. Even the ones with pulp in it. You know, like, so we as a human race, we have gotten to a point where selling is also propaganda. You know, does your favorite person say, this is great, take this? And you don't go like, well, what's actually in it? I want to know, what do these words mean? Like, I want to understand what this is.
I do.
Well,
I'm that freak though.
You do, but not everybody does.
And I know.
And there's an awful lot of people that if they even hear about it or think about it, they put the blinders on.
It's too complicated.
All I'm saying is, if it were,
they wouldn't sell it if it was unsafe.
Oh yeah, bullshit. Okay. Yeah. Let's talk COVID vaccines. But I mean, like, that's why I say I don't believe it's a real thing, because if it were,
they'd make more money.
They would make more money, and people with no morals and no scruples and no values would take it. And those who have no morals, scruples, or values would find a way to help you get it. And therefore, children would not be able to go to a park because the bad people would kidnap them at a rate that we couldn't keep up with. You would have to raise your kids in a safe house or
True.
whatever.
True.
Yeah, it would get really ugly if it was a real true thing. So I see that as a conspiracy theory that is not real. You know, I just can't see that. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that celebrities will do, but I think there's a lot of things that regular people will do. They just don't have the means to do it.
True.
And I don't know. That's just my opinion. But the thing is there's so many good things that our government right now, our administration is doing or trying to do that is good and is helping us, and the left can't see it for anything. They cannot see anything good, and it is trickling over to just regular good old-fashioned people that are watching and hearing the stuff that's being said about Trump and his administration and Doge and, you know, the 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 Democrats holding signs up saying save Medicare and Medicaid and liar when nothing that they've said is a lie. I mean, and they have come forward and said, "Oh, I was wrong on those numbers. We're going to make mistakes, but when we find those mistakes, we're going to fix them." And the whole point of why Elon is saying, you know, tech support is because he is trying to make our systems work correctly, be more modern, and talk to one another
And be efficient.
and be
That's
efficient.
what the E in Doge stands for.
Is efficient.
Efficiency.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just because we just want to play with everybody's computer systems.
Yeah.
They actually want to fix these systems. So I don't know. I get so frustrated by the things that are said, and they're not factual, and they're ridiculous, and the people watching are falling for it. That's what bothers me, is the people that are watching it are falling for it, and they're now coming unhinged themselves, being mad because Joy Reid was fired. Forget the fact that Joy Reid was such a racist
Horrible.
see you
Horrible.
next Tuesday kind of
Mhm.
person that, like, she should have been fired a long time ago.
Mhm.
Now I see it that they started firing certain people and getting rid of them as soon as Trump's basically said no more woke. Like, we're getting rid of the wokeness. As soon as that happened, they're like, "Thank God, you're gone." That's what I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
That's what I see, absolutely. Like, we don't need you anymore. We were doing this because we had to, and
Mhm.
now we don't have to anymore. So, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, what did you think about his announcement that the language in this country is English?
Oh, I didn't know.
Oh yeah, that was an executive order
I
he just did.
didn't know that ever was not a thing.
I don't know.
I thought that that's
I
always
thought it
been our
was.
official
Well,
language.
no, it was changed in
To
2005
what?
to no language. Basically, like, it's an order that was done by Clinton, an executive order in 2005
Oh, wow.
to
I didn't know that.
to accommodate those that are not English speaking. So that basically eliminated English as the American
But
language.
that's one of the conditions of
No,
gaining
no,
citizenship.
no. That was removed in 2005. That is not true.
No,
That
I mean it was.
up until 2005 when he removed that
So why would they do that?
because of all the illegal
Right,
immigrants.
but they weren't granting them citizenship anyway.
Well, some were, but they just weren't doing it at the same way that they were doing it prior to that. And but I
Hmm.
didn't read the full thing on it. I just read enough to understand that Clinton had removed it.
Wow.
Or not removed it, he changed it to us to have to accommodate other languages.
Wow.
And Trump just signed it saying America's language is English.
So does that mean that it reverts back to citizenship
It should.
requirements?
Yeah, I think it'll fall into the you'll have to be able to show proficiency with, and that was why he had changed it, because he was getting rid of the proficiency side of it. Like you
Okay.
could have it, but you didn't have to have proficiency
Okay.
anymore. And it trickled into the school systems and everything else. It's why they were doing bilingual in so many schools, and they couldn't do that prior to 2005. Schools, you went to a school, it was English. It wasn't English and Spanish. And now there's like,
Well, no, they had ESL classes.
yeah, but they were, but
Like English
today,
as a second language.
but
Because I remember
today,
when I
you go
was young, they had ESL classes
right,
for kids that didn't speak English. So that was like when
but
we
it
were
was,
doing English class, those kids would go
but they were learning
and learn.
English.
Right, right.
It wasn't a
So
class
it
where they could
was
do all their stuff in their own
no,
language.
it was a
That's
class
yeah,
of
to
learning
learn
English
English.
as a second language.
Yeah, and that's not,
But the rest of the day,
yeah,
they were in class with us, like
English.
trying to apply their ESL learning
Right,
to math and
exactly,
science and social
exactly.
studies.
And then
So
that went away when it became where the languages in schools were English and Spanish. And then like I'm
wow.
not going to say who it was I was talking to, but it was at a couple of the high schools here and somewhere else, and they go like, I don't know how anybody's learning because there's 30 languages in our classroom. Like no, half of them don't speak English at all.
Around here, there's no way there's 30 different languages around here. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not talking about here.
I was like, there's not
like I said, I'm
chance.
not going to out the person or the place, but
Oh, I
they
thought
went
you
to the
said it was
school.
around here.
No, the person I talked to was around here.
Oh, okay.
But
I was like, there's no way there's 30 languages here, dude.
but there's multiple languages at these schools. Well, here there's
Wow.
Haitian, and they're not speaking English. They're
Yeah.
speaking Haitian,
Yeah.
and they're in our school.
Well, they speak French.
Well, that's not English.
But, well, yeah, but there's not a lot of them.
No, there's not.
I mean, really, like honestly, the children's.
But here we
that's
don't
what
have.
an issue is.
But here we don't have that big of an issue.
Right.
It's places that do.
Bigger cities.
Yeah,
and more integrated.
Right. And you go
Yeah.
to some of these bigger schools or these bigger cities. Like let's say California, for instance. Do you think anybody's able to learn in a California school when they have like 40, 50
Yeah,
different
no,
languages in a
there's-
classroom?
Yeah.
For the most part, the teacher is there as a babysitter to keep them from killing each other during the day.
Mhm.
Like, let's just keep them from,
Yeah.
here's your homework. And that's why they graduate people that have no education, no reading skills, they don't care. They're just like, move on to the next class. No child left behind
Yeah,
meant
that was
no one
Bush's
actually needs
biggest
to
failure.
pass.
Oh my
That was the
God.
definition of no child left behind
Yes.
meant
Yes.
no child needs to actually succeed.
Yeah.
No child
For
needs to pass.
sure.
We don't care. Just
That was
move
horrible.
along, go to the next year, and then as soon as you graduate and get the hell out of here, you're your own problem. That's what was happening. And
No child left behind, and everybody gets a trophy.
yeah, exactly. I'm going to try to play this because I can't get my downloader to download the video because it won't. My internet is blocking this for some reason, and I don't know why it's blocking it because okay, here we go. That's probably what it is. Allow it. Yes, it's allowed. I don't have any problem with it being on there. Like, this is stupid. It just ticks me off when computers think that they know better than we do.
When
I
they
mean,
don't act right.
yes,
When they don't act right.
yeah, like, yes, I understand certain things, but if I am saying open this and I keep doing it, obviously I'm trying to open it and you need to stop blocking me from opening a program I have. Like I'm trying to see, it will not let this open. Doesn't, and I just changed the permissions and
That is
it
wild.
will, and you know it's not when it clicks on the internet, this is showing that it's blocked. Like quit blocking it.
So it's the internet blocking it, not YouTube.
No, it's not YouTube blocking it. It's my internet firewall or whatever that's blocking this specific program from working. And it keeps saying third-party cookies blocked. And I unblock it and I tell it let it. And then it goes, no, not gonna. I don't care. I'm not gonna let that play. And I'm like, that's not what I want you to do. So, let it. Nope, it will not. Okay, so I'm gonna try to play it from my screen and see if that will work. Okay, well, it like removed it altogether, stupid thing. Oh my god. Sometimes I get so irritated by the computers doing their own damn thing. I had it up. I
That's
had it ready to
frustrating.
go and let let's see if we can pull this up here. Okay, and now first of all, let's see if we can hear it. I don't know because like sometimes this seems to work and sometimes it seems to not work. So I'm confused as to whether it is working or isn't working. So Steve, if you're watching or anyone else, Logan, if somebody's watching, please let us know if you can actually hear this because we are going to share the screen. And hopefully it does work just fine. All right, let's make this on here because I obviously can't put it.
Hey everyone, I'm Megyn Kelly. Welcome to the Megyn Kelly Show. We witnessed a norm-breaking presidential address to Congress last night, but not for the reasons the corporate media will tell you. President Donald Trump gave a speech that was quintessential Trump, full of surprises and performance and excitement and in a dynamic way that actually electrified the audience in front of him. Words no one has ever spoken before about an address to Congress in this setting. It's basically a State of the Union, but they call it just a joint address to Congress because it's his first year in office. And the presumption is you won't have much to talk about because you've only been in office 6 weeks. Not this.
Yeah, he's only been in office for 6 weeks. So apparently, definitely not going to have anything to talk about because he hasn't done anything in the first 6 weeks of being in office, right?
Nothing. Not a thing.
That is generally the way it works because there's usually not enough to have it worth watching or hearing because you're like, okay, you've been in for 6 weeks and you haven't done anything. I mean, literally, Biden couldn't do one for 4 years.
Right.
He didn't do anything for 4 years.
Right.
I mean, except for screw things up. See, I did catch myself. I almost said the F word. Except for screw things up. So if those were congressional addresses, he could have done those on a regular basis.
This president, not this night. Obviously, Donald Trump knows good TV and how to deliver it. The public largely responding very favorably to the speech, and not just Republicans. But the story was very different on the other side of the aisle, with Democratic lawmakers refusing to clap or stand multiple times throughout the night for all sorts of very moving, personal, beautiful moments that typically would see bipartisan support. I mean, there was one that even brought Canadian Debbie to tears, and she is a hard-hearted news producer. I mean, you don't make Canadian Debbie cry. I've rarely seen it. Even she had some tears. Then there was the one cane-waving Democratic congressman who literally got escorted out of the chamber early on in the speech. He wanted to make a spectacle of himself, and he did. Where were the cries of horror?
Now, the Democrats are throwing a hissy fit that everybody else didn't get up and walk out with him. Like they should have all gone in solidarity and walked out with him, and they all should have done this, and they all should have done that. You know, this is the whole point of why you have a ship that's sinking and you're bailing water into your ship.
They're just doubling down on that shit.
Yeah,
It's like
like
they're just taking axes and hammering the side of that boat to make more holes. Like, what are you doing?
They're like, does anybody know how to make a siphon out of a hose? Can we put it in the water?
So we could just-
Because we're not sinking fast enough. Just an
Yeah.
FYI, I will pause this a couple times because that way we don't have it playing for too long.
From the Democrats in response to that breach of decorum, like we saw with old Joe, what's his name, a couple of years ago, who yelled out, "You lie," to Barack Obama. And then after the speech was over, you will not believe, I mean, maybe you will, but I think it's still shocking what one MSNBC host had to say, in particular about that sweet 13-year-old cancer surviving boy. We're going to get into it now, starting with Rich Lowry, editor of National Review.
Okay. So that's all we're going to play. But the whole point is, like, what in the actual foolery I'm trying not to say the bad words, but like seriously, and there's more to play on hers, but I'm not going to do it right now. But I mean, seriously, they could not, and it is the whole point of what I wanted to talk about today, because the reality is these people literally are so unhinged that they cannot, for the life of them, they cannot see their own noses. They're cutting off their noses to spite their face. They are putting the water into their boat because they can't possibly have any way, shape, or form that they could say anything good. Like, so they're just bailing water into their boat and they're like, we're sinking, more water. We're sinking, more water. Like, does anybody have any more water? Like, what is wrong with them? And I don't understand it. I'm having such a difficult time understanding this stuff.
Well, because it's not really to be understood by a rational mind. But if you really like stop and look at the things that they say too, like with the immigration stuff, like what caught me was what they say or they use to try to like think they're clever. Okay, so they're like, well, now what are the Republicans going to do? They're going to have to go out and pick their own vegetables, and they're going to have to go out. And I'm like hearing that, and I'm going, so is that all you see that their worth is?
I thought that was the most racist thing for them to say.
I don't really look at that. Like, number one, there's really not very many like hands out there in the fields actually picking berries. They have huge pieces of farming equipment that they harvest stuff with.
I'm like, the stuff that they used to have to do that with was because the equipment that they used back then would damage everything.
So, but what they
have stuff that is
they work on farms, but they operate the equipment, or they or tend to the animals or whatever. A lot of them, like out in Colorado, a lot of them work at the butchering plants.
Oh yeah, that's
and here, a lot of them work at
them,
Aviagen and the Wayne farms and all the chicken places. So like they're actually contributing to, they're probably doing jobs that most people wouldn't want to sign up for, because working in a chicken
but at the
plant
same
is
time,
yucky.
like,
but like, I don't think about what the Filipinos' jobs and job descriptions and abilities might be, or the Indian people, or the,
Well,
like,
and at the same time, a lot of those companies are also paying them at a rate that we wouldn't take those jobs
for
at
sure,
those pay rates.
for sure.
Like, they would have to pay a true wage, and they don't have to if it's an illegal
I have
immigrant.
such a great story about that too, like locally here with the chicken farms and the Hispanic immigrants and the Haitians, because all the chicken farms and the processing plants here, and this is direct information coming from one of the bigger places here, but and from Logan. Like Logan's the one that told me this story, but he went to one day because he services a lot of those places, and there was a line out the door of Haitians. And so he went into the office and started talking to a couple of people, and he's like, "What's going on?" And they said, "Well, they're here for jobs." He's like, "What do you mean they're here for jobs?" And they're like, "They're here for jobs, and we got to hire them." And he's like, "Well, you got to hire them." And they were all like really upset about it. And the reason that they were upset about it wasn't because they were Haitian. Had nothing to do with that.
No.
Let's get down to the details of why they were upset about it. Because most of the people that work out where the animals are and in the plant are Hispanic or Central American immigrants. They've got to be legal because these are like legit companies that are, but they're still immigrants. But they are only allowed to apply to work at those places through a temp service. They keep these people with the temp service and never hire them on because it saves them money that way in benefits and things like
Right.
that. But with that, they're not allowed any benefits, even like going to a Christmas party. Like they're not invited to go to a Christmas party.
Because they're not technically
because they're not
employees.
technically employees.
They're employees of the temp agency.
So this was all happening like before the election and then in through like Christmas, whatever. And that's why I brought up the Christmas party thing, was that they had told Logan that all these current people that have been working there for years under temp service, but still for years, weren't allowed to go to their Christmas party, but all these Haitians had to be invited because they were getting hired on directly. They were told that that's how it was going to go down.
Yeah, from the
From
county
whoever.
commissioners or whoever it was that said, and that's what the argument has been in a lot of places where it came more out and known about was in Ohio, but it was because of that, because the powers that be, the governing powers that be in those places were saying, you're going to hire them, you're going to do this, or you're going to do that.
No questions asked.
Or we're going to come in and we're going to regulate the crap out of you, or we're going to come and fine you, or we're going to do this. It's all pushback. I mean, it's just like the person who did it, and they were on camera. They were at a thing where I think it was Vivek Ramaswamy had gone to in Ohio, and she said, what are you going to do about the rent issues and stuff like that? Because these people were coming in, and one of them said, my father-in-law had been in this apartment for like 7 or 17 years. I don't remember the time frame, but it was 7 or 17. It was a long time that he had been in this apartment complex with this a regulated rent.
Mm-hmm.
And so they couldn't raise his
Mm-hmm.
rent for a certain period of time. Well, because all these Haitians had come in, and they're not legal, but they're legal.
I know. It's
Like
so
Biden did this
crazy.
underhanded legal, not legal thing.
Yes.
And
yes.
and so they were able to put them in these apartments, and they were able to raise rents at this apartment because they had taken away the rent control. And so when they did that, they raised this guy's rent to 3 times what the rent was. And there was absolutely no way he could stay living there at that cost at all in any way, shape, or form. So he did end up moving out. I think he moved in with a family member. And this was this woman giving her testimony basically at one of these meetings.
Mhm.
And she said, but then they moved in like 6 of them into that same apartment that only has 2 bedrooms, 6 or 8 Haitians, and they were charging each one of them the amount that guy couldn't pay anymore. And they were renting it out per person for the amount of rent. And renting it to that many people. How is that okay? How is that acceptable? And I don't know how our conversation moved into that. The
I don't know.
whole
I
point
don't know
is
either.
the
but-
Democrats are, and it is because of the Democrats. That is literally putting water into your boat.
It is.
You know, we need immigrants. We need good immigrants. We need people who will become here and contribute to our society, contribute to our way of life, assimilate with America. We
Mhm.
do have a culture here. And you can't have people coming to a place and trying to erase our own culture and erase our way of life because this is how we do it in Haiti, or this is how we do it in this place, or this is how we do it here.
Mhm.
And hence they come over and they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. You know, I just love how he says they're eating the cats and they're eating the dogs. But that's, they aren't trying to do anything bad. You know, it was like somebody was talking about it too. I can't remember who this one was, but they said, yeah, there was a time when we had a whole bunch of Filipinos or and this other nationality that had came in, and this was like many years ago, and they're like, yeah, they were taking the ducks right out of the pond and
Mhm.
cooking them and
Mhm.
eating them, until somebody said we don't do that here.
Mhm.
But they were like, well, we didn't know that. Like, we thought it was acceptable. They're there.
That's
Grab
what
me
they
a
do.
duck
Yep.
and I'm
Yep.
gonna go kill it. And the Haitians were doing that too. And there was plenty of videos out there showing proof of this was actually happening. Was it happening at a rate that it kind of was made out to look like? No.
Mhm.
But again, I'm gonna repeat what JD Vance said. So you're saying just one is okay? You know, I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want them here doing that. And it doesn't mean I don't want migrants here. I don't want migrants that are living off of our systems, getting our money and working under the table for cash for less wages.
Well, okay, and you have to look at it too. Like, how did busloads of Haitians just
Magically
slip
know where
right
to come in.
into little communities like ours? I mean, because I started asking that too. I'm like, okay, well, Athens is still pretty small because the Huntsville area is like 250,000 now.
Right.
But Athens is still a smaller place, and I'm like, where in the heck did they hear of Athens? Okay, because I am from the United States, and when we first moved here, people were like, how did you hear about Athens? And I'm like, dude, I don't know, it just happens, right?
Well,
Like, because it's that
I
it's that
have an answer
unknown.
for you. They gave them a map of
Sped him around three times,
and they just stuck their finger there.
like pin the Haitian on the tail instead of pin the tail on the donkey.
I mean, I wanted to know how they flew them in.
No, but then we have all of these hundreds of thousands of people at the border.
Yeah.
Like that, I've never, like, how did the Haitians bypass
Because they flew
the
them in.
border? So, well,
Biden was flying them in.
Right. So, like, that should be a huge red
But
flag
why were they
for
flying
people.
to Athens or to
to
Huntsville
little
to bring
towns in Ohio,
Right,
or
like,
to how weird
and to me it seems very
calculated. Yes.
Because if you put them into big cities, they'll get swallowed up by the big city.
Yes.
If you put them into small little towns, they'll swallow up the small little town.
You're right.
You know, if you
You're
put in 20,000 Haitians, migrants that are going to try to live their way of life in New York City,
They get lost in the sauce real fast.
yeah, they won't. But you put them in a small little town. You put, I don't remember how many they said we got here.
I think there's 2,500.
Yeah, I was going to say it's somewhere
number.
around 2,000 or so.
Yeah.
But we're a town of between 30,000 and 50,000,
Yeah.
depending on the day, I guess.
Depending on the year.
Depending
really,
on who's doing the math.
Yeah, all that
Is
too.
it core math? I don't know. But
just in the town, or you clean the county, or you like
and then I heard they were going to be sending even more. And there's a small town outside of Birmingham where they sent like 5 or 10,000,
and their town is teeny,
and they're swallowing that town up like nothing.
And those people went in a huge number to their city council meetings.
I watched that.
And
they were
really
told to shut up and get out.
We are not going to listen to this just because of people that look different than you, and we're done here.
They shut the council meeting down because you don't have a right to say anything.
Yeah, and I was
it's like, how do I not have a right to say anything in my own community? See, that's part of the problem, and that I think is the thing that's going to start stopping with our new administration. And if the other party does not stop pouring water into their sinking boat, they won't have a party. Because anybody who has a modicum of a brain cell are jumping off the ship. They're like, I'd rather be with the Trump sharks than you people, because you're trying to kill us all. You're trying to drown us all. And they're coming over and they're realizing we're dolphins and not sharks.
Right.
They're like, whoa, I thought you guys were evil. I thought you guys were horrible. And we're like, no, come on. Water's nice over here. And they're like,
we have cookies.
we have cookies. Yeah. So, I mean, it's an interesting dynamic. That's what it is. Anyway,
really is.
Our show is over. Our time is up. We have once again gone past our time. But in reality, we're like kind of right on time if we use Kimberly and Tori time, because, the show really didn't start till Kimberly got here. So
yeah, so I guess we're good, because
we started early, but it was about 10 minutes. But so I'm going to pretend that works. That's okay. So anyway, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Please come back tomorrow, and remember to like, subscribe, and follow, share, and come and see us. Not tomorrow. We will be here. We will be here on Monday, because tomorrow is Saturday. I forgot there for about 30 seconds. But anyway, we will see you again on Monday. And I'm planning to have a pretty good show on Monday. Hopefully, we're going to talk about grifting and grifters. We're going to see how that goes. Well, let's talk about it. YouTubers and battles amongst YouTubers and all that kind of fun stuff. So we will see you there, and how that affects your mental health as a viewer, as a watcher, because you get invested into someone else. How is that going to start affecting you? So let's talk about that on Monday. We'll see you then.
Sounds good.
Until then, have a great night.
Great weekend.
Thanks, guys. Where's my... I can't find buttons, apparently. I'm not...
Thank you for watching Girl Talk's live broadcast, which airs weekdays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Don't forget to send in your Dear Margaret questions. Then join us for our opinion-based answers. We love having you time to be with us tonight. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe.